Shock collars, one of the worst inventions ever created. And I don't say that, loosely. I really, honestly mean that, okay? So I want to give you guys some facts and let you know what the truth is about shock collars, because there still is a large group of people who call themselves trainers, and I use that word lightly, I'll explain why in a minute, who still recommend these for reasons that I can understand. So, for one thing, I want you guys to know shock collars are the same thing as e-collars. When you hear an e-collar, okay, trainers or whoever it is that recommends that, e-collars, they're trying to make shock collar not sound as bad. Oh yeah, we use e-collar training. Well, you use shock collar training, but if you tell a dog owner that we're going to shock your dog, it doesn't sound so nice. E-collar sounds a lot less harmful. So, e-collars, shock collars, they're the same thing. What are they? Alright, essentially, it's just a regular nylon collar with an electrical box. On the box, there are two prongs. The prongs goes into the dog's neck, right? Just touching the skin, not actually inside them. The box then can be activated one of two ways. Number one, there's a remote trainer. You press a button and on command there is an electrical shock given to your dog's neck. The other way they can be activated is through vibrations, most commonly bark collars. The dog has a collar on, they bark, the vocal cords vibrate, sets off the electrical shock. Okay? E-collars or shock collars are an electrical shock. That's what it is. It is a shock, okay? If anybody tells you it doesn't hurt, of course it hurts. It's an electrical shock. If it didn't hurt, it wouldn't work, because shock collars are a form of positive punishment. Alright, now, if you're not familiar with what positive punishment is, maybe you've only heard things like positive reinforcement before. Positive punishment is when a dog does something and you add something, you give the dog something to reduce the frequency of the behavior, such as an electrical shock. The positive punishment has to hurt. That's why it's a punishment. You're adding a punishment, positive punishment. Okay? So for a trainer to say that we're going to put a shock collar on your dog, let's say a bark collar, and oh no, it won't hurt him, well, then it's not working. If you understand, I never use shock collars, I never use prong collars, I don't hit dogs, but I understand the science behind it. So, for somebody to say that a shock collar doesn't hurt your dog is either just flat out lying or doesn't understand how to properly use one, okay? Positive punishment has to hurt. That's what makes it positive punishment. It wouldn't work otherwise. When the dog barks, if the dog didn't get shocked, then there's no positive punishment. If the shock didn't hurt, then why are you shocking them at all? It won't do any good. And this is where one of the mistakes get made with the shock collars that have different levels. People start off at level 1, the dog barks, ooh, level 1's not enough, they turn up to level 2. The dog continues to bark, ooh, doesn't work, turn up to level 3. And then into level 4, and 5, and 6, and 7. They slowly condition the dog to the pain because they don't want to hurt their dog by starting all the way at a high level. Well, if you're going to use a shock collar, you have to start at the high level. There's no point to have lower levels. If you are going to put a shock collar on a dog, you turn the thing up as high as it goes, so the first time that your dog barks, he gets shocked. And he gets shocked so badly, he never wants to bark again. And if that sounds horrible, it's because it is. And that's why I don't use them. Because why would you want to cause that amount of pain to your dog, to the animal that you're paying the veterinarian bills for, that you're buying food for, that sleeps on your bed? Why? I can't fathom any logical reason how you could be okay with that. And like I said, that's not the way I train. I've never once, in 10 years, thousands of dogs, come across a situation where there is ever a justification to use a shock collar. Okay? Think about this, okay? Animal trainers for movies, circuses, I'm not defending that the animals are necessarily treated the best, because I know there's issues. That's another topic. But just the point here, animal trainers can train tigers, can train bears, can train, you know, other animals that are escaping me at the moment. But let's just say tigers and bears, for example. Animals that are 10 times the size of dogs that could kill you instantly. If animal trainers can train those animals without a shock collar, then I think training a domesticated 50-pound dog without a shock collar is not asking too much, okay? I mean, it just doesn't make sense to me. So, shock collars, if people are choosing to use them, for me, I can't understand why, okay? Now, earlier I said that for people who call themselves trainers that use these, here's the thing about shock collars, right? They don't do any type of training. Shock collars are not a training tool, right? They're a band-aid. And what I mean by that is that the second that collar comes off, you have an untrained, and that wasn't trained to begin with, you have a dog that's back to the behavior issues, alright? Shock collars do not address the underlying problem as to why your dog is displaying whatever the behavioral problem is. Fear. God, why would somebody use shock collars to try to help a fearful dog? Okay? If you have a horrible fear of spiders, okay, and I sit you down in a chair, and I take a thing of spiders, and I put them on your lap, and if every single time that you get scared and scream or flinch, I take a frying pan, and hit you over the head with it, every time you see a spider, you get scared, and I keep whacking you over the head, do you think that's going to make you get over your fear of spiders? Absolutely not. I'm traumatizing you even more. Shock collars don't train, they suppress the behaviors. And when you suppress the behaviors, you create emotional harm, you create physical harm to the dog. The stress levels of dogs on shock collars shoots through the roof. A lot of it because they don't know when they're going to get shocked. That's what comes down to a lot of it. How would you like to go through life just walking down the street and being paranoid that at any second you could have an electrical shock? I wouldn't want to live that way. So I certainly don't want our dogs to live that way. I mean, I can't understand how everyone can call yourself a trainer if you have to resort to an electrical shock for your, I see shock collars on 10-pound little Yorkies. I mean, come on. People can train 600-pound tigers to not attack them, to do tricks, to do whatever it is, but you can't train a 10-pound dog to stop barking, right? The shock collars are not training. Shock collars cause more harm than good. They don't cause any good, so I guess that's not the strongest statement there. The shock collars are being banned in countries. There's countries, Switzerland, I believe, Austria, Germany, there's a few others, and more are making strides to ban them, right? Because they're abuse. It's an electrical shock. There's no other way you can justify saying that an electrical shock giving an electrical shock to your dog's neck is okay, all right? So this is, I don't know if you can tell, it's a bit of a hot topic for me, but I want you guys to know the truth about this, because it's not fair to dog owners who don't really understand the science and the theories behind shock collars and what they actually do, the harm they actually cause, right? There's not a single behavior that I could not fix with a dog that, a shock collar would solve. Every single behavior problem or command can be taught without using fear, without using force, without using punishment. So today I want to talk about prong collars and give people the truth about what they really do, because there seems to be a misconception